So this is the 6x4 board. We will be going over the components and how to fill it in. We're not going to get into the nitty-gritty of the method. You have some information in this document as well to fill it in on each of the tabs, and there's also more information in the PDF that you could also download. So this is the first tab containing the board, and you should not be filling anything out on this tab at all. It will all populate automatically. So let's head over to the mission tab and get started. Here you have these middle fields to fill in. The first one is to choose your mission. For this purpose, I'm going to go with ideation. My goal is to demonstrate board, and you can put down anything here. And then for this particular demonstration, I am using the class action lawsuit industry, and the geography will be North America. My demographic is class action stakeholders. And then finally, I am choosing to only go digital. So when you go back to your board, you'll see that the initial fields have been filled out, and this is how it's going to continue going on. So let's head over to the Players tab. This tab has the most information, and it's also the one that's probably going to take you the most time. First, you fill out the name of your business, and then you come to coordinate. And the coordinate refers to these 24 combinations of letters, and they refer to a coordinate in the matrix. You can find the coordinates here, but you can also find more information about them in the PDF and other resources that you can download. And this graphic here is to help you determine which coordinate is right for your business, but also for the other businesses that you are going to dig up in this industry. So you also find more information about the actual variables, the problems, and the solutions here. So once you know your coordinate, you go ahead and fill that in, and then you start filling out businesses. It could also be brand names or product names in some cases. In my case, I know that there will be textbooks. I'm not going to dig up any particular names. You have 10 slots, and the first slot should be the most prominent one, because this is the one that will show up on your board. So whatever you find to be the leading product or business in the field, that's the one you put here. You also have a question of how many, because in many cases there will be way more than 10, and then you can just choose one of these to mark down how many. And I'm going to guess that there are more than 100 ebooks on class action lawsuits. And you shouldn't be guessing. I'm just doing this for a demonstration. You should be looking this up, because these are really important numbers for you and information. So the more you know, the better you're equipped for the next steps. For the second one, I know that there are law firms. I'm not going to name any. And there's quite a few of those as well. And you keep doing this. Start with the easy ones, the ones you know without looking up, and keep putting down numbers and variables so that you have as many of these coordinates filled out. And it really should be so many that you cannot find any for the remaining coordinates. Your goal is to find one for each if it's possible. If you can't, that's an opportunity or a threat. We're going to get to that later. So if you head back to the board, you'll see that the ones that you have chosen are here in your game players, but also that the coordinates that they represent have been filled in the matrix. So once you have as many as possible filled in and you're not finding any more players in your industry, you head over to analogies. And here you will see the coordinates again, and see that the ones that you have a business name for, they are taken, and the other ones are called moons. And the moons are your opportunities. So you will choose a few moons that could be of interest to you, and you will then proceed to write down an appropriate analogy to describe them. So this is you going the tired route of using another business in another industry to describe what you could be doing here. So I'm going to write down Tinder for class action stakeholders. And this is for people and platform. So I'm keeping it very, very simple. And this is not at all how you're going to describe your idea later. It's just a placeholder for what you find to be most interesting in this particular moon. So heading back to the board, you will see that the analogies are now filled out and you have moons stacked up for evaluation. So heading back to the evaluation tab, you will see that there's 3 tests that your moon needs to pass, and there are cravings, current, and capacity, and you can find all the information about that right here. And once you have a pass for a certain test, you just click that and confirm that yes, it is a go-ahead on these categories. And for the one that I filled out the analogy, I'm just going to go ahead and click all 3, and you will see them also filled out on the board. And then finally, you head over to the Moon Grab tab, and you will, I clicked too soon, you will want to choose a moon that has 3 X's, because otherwise you will never be able to make it happen, and you'll know why when you see the tests. So when you go to the moon, keep in mind which ones had 3, and you choose those ones. And you also see the analogy that you wrote down show up here, and you will want to use that as a frame of mind to define your business. So for me, I'm going to write down matchmaking for class action stakeholders. So this is not an elevator pitch. It's not really a tagline. It's a descriptive that you can use to tell other people what your new idea or your opportunity or maybe even threat is all about. So the next step that needs to be made for you to make this happen, or for anyone else who's competing with you, that's the thing you should put down in actions. So I am going to write down create matchmaking platform. And this doesn't necessarily have to be like a fully fleshed out app or anything like that. It's just a platform you can use to make matches in this particular instance. So once you have your first action ready, or first actions if you have more than one, you go down to the date and you put down when. So I'm going to put down June 20th, 2019. And this field will only accept dates, so it's really to give you some deadlines. If you were to go for this opportunity, when will you have it done? So if you're doing this for evaluation purposes or for SWOT, when you're more evaluating the field or your industry, you can skip the completed by date. But the actions you probably should think over, because they matter for evaluating if this is actually happening in your field, and try to make the action something that will be an indicator to you. So creating an actual platform and putting it out as a beta would be an interesting indicator if you're looking to evaluate your industry for someone else doing something in this space. So heading back to the board, you will now have it all filled out. Ideally, you'll have plenty of businesses here and quite a few coordinates filled in. But this is what it looks like when it's done. I hope you will find this helpful, and I hope I'll see you in one of our Moon Grab sessions. Thank you.